Now, Stormwatch 12 weather with meteorologist Oliver Smith.
Well, temperatures are just a little bit cooler in Grants Pass and Medford compared to this time last night, but still a little bit warmer down to the south and east. So we're starting to get a little bit of influence from a cold front that is quickly approaching our area. Now, not a whole lot of change, though, along the Oregon coast. Speaking of those current temperatures, it's 49 in Chemult, 55, and Christmas Valley, a lot of 60s up and down Interstate 5, 69 right now, and Medford. So yeah, obviously we were much warmer, 74 at this time yesterday. A pair of 60s for Montague and Mount Shasta City, and low 50s along the Oregon coast. So we did have some showers and thunderstorms out towards the extreme eastern part of Klamath County, moving over towards Paisley. However, the humidity was very low, so most of this probably didn't even reach the ground. A lot of the green that you're looking at here to the west is just in clear air mode, so it's picking up a lot of extra things in the atmosphere, which is not rain. So our next system is actually just right offshore. It's a very, very weak front, so I drew it as a broken front. So this will cool us off for a little bit for tomorrow, but high pressure is still way offshore. That's just going to rebuild back in, and temperatures are going to go back up once again. So our forecast for in the morning, you can see we do have clouds up to our north, which is a good sign that temperatures are going to be cooler here because we didn't have any of those clouds. So that's a good indication there is onshore flow. As we go into the afternoon, those clouds evaporate, but we're going to be looking pretty sunny throughout most of the regions. There's some clouds, though, along the Oregon coast with plenty of sunshine into the afternoon. A fairly good northwesterly breeze as we get towards the later part of the day. We go through Tuesday, same kind of scenario. We'll have some high clouds drifting into the region, but we're going to have a pretty strong north wind along the Oregon coast. And in fact, that Chetco effect's really going to start taking hold once we get towards Tuesday and Wednesday. In the northern part of the coast, temperatures are going to climb into the 70s. Brookings will climb into the 80s. We go through the day on Wednesday, we're starting to see a little bit less wind east the Cascades. That's because high pressure is going to start to build in right over us, and so things will start to warm up even more. So the system that's going to give us the cooler conditions for tomorrow is pushing in pretty much right now, and that'll shift off towards the east as we go through Tuesday and Wednesday. Warmer, high pressure off to our south and west rebuilds, so temperatures are going to climb back up once again once we go into Wednesday and into Thursday. But good news if you're looking for cooler conditions, because by the time we get to Friday, we start to get a little bit more of a northwesterly flow. And there's some discrepancy in terms of whether the system that moves through the region that'll cool us off kind of parks itself over us or actually just pushes off towards the east. But no matter the way you look at it, next weekend is definitely looking cooler than this weekend. So for the kids heading off to school tomorrow morning, temperatures are going to vary. We're going to be looking at 50s along the Oregon coast, pretty pleasant conditions overall. Generally low 60s for the valley, so pretty mild. And then we go into the Cascades and out towards the Klamath Basin, temperatures pretty much into the 50s. So for the Oregon coast, we're going to be looking at temperatures into the 60s for tonight, 40s and 50s for early tomorrow morning. We're going to be looking at breezy conditions once we get towards the afternoon, about 30 miles an hour in terms of wind gusts. Northern California will be looking at 70s and 80s for tomorrow afternoon. Overnight lows generally into the 40s and 50s, 78 for Weed, 79 for Mount Shasta City. For Klamath Basin, also kind of a breezy afternoon, but temperatures a little bit cooler. All of us are getting into the 70s, 77 for Paisley and Klamath Falls, 73 for Lakeview, and 70 for Chemult. Overnight lows pretty much into the 30s and 40s. Cascades, the higher up you go, that's where we're going to be looking at more cooler temperatures, 59 for Lakeview, but 74 for Butte Falls. And we head here in the Rogue Valley, temperatures a little bit cooler, 83 for Medford, 77 for Ashland, so definitely better, but it will be a bit on the breezy side once we get towards the late afternoon. Here's your forecast for the Oregon coast. Pollen's going to stay high for the next 4 days, and temperatures climbing into the 80s for Wednesday, cooling off into the 60s by the time we get towards next weekend. Maybe some showers along the Oregon coast. Northern California will have a string of 80s for the next several days, finally cooling off into the 70s by the time we get to the weekend. Overnight lows into the 40s. Klamath Basin, 70s and 80s really for the next several days. A little bit on the breezy side for tomorrow and also towards the end of the week. And the Cascades also looking pretty nice as well. We'll just see some high clouds, a lot of sunshine. I have a better chance of seeing some rain by the time we get towards next weekend. And here in the Rogue Valley, we're going to get pretty hot once we get towards Wednesday and Thursday. Highs near 90 degrees.